Good afternoon, students. Yesterday we had seen some of the endocrine glands and how is their function, what are their secretions and their functions into the body. During the explanation of the glands, I had mentioned that there are two types of the glands, exocrine gland and the endocrine gland. Take a note, students. Yesterday, when I was mentioning the definition for the exocrine gland, I had mentioned it to be as ductless gland. But there is a correction. By mistake, I had mentioned it to be as ductless gland. Correct it to be as glands with duct. Correct it to be as glands with duct are called as exocrine gland, and these endocrine glands are glands or ductless glands. Ductless glands. Okay. So that is the major difference between the exocrine gland and the endocrine gland. Exocrine glands are glands with the duct, and endocrine glands are ductless glands. Yesterday we had seen the different types of the endocrine glands into the human beings, in which we had come across the hypothalamus, which is located into the brain, is called to be as the master of master gland. And this hypothalamus, what it is secreting, it is secreting the hormones which are called to be as releasing hormone and the inhibiting hormone. So these are the two hormones which are secreted by the hypothalamus. Next, we had come across the pituitary gland. This pituitary gland located below the hypothalamus, and it is called to be as the master gland, which is controlling the secretions of the rest of the hormones secreted by other endocrine glands. This pituitary gland is having a control on GTA, MEV, OLF. We have already discussed about this GTA, MPV, OLF. Here, growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone, prolactin, vasopressin, which is also called to be as the antidiuretic hormone, ADH, oxytocin, which is also called to be as the birth hormone, the luteinizing hormone, and the follicle stimulating hormone. We had seen the details for this yesterday. Into this, we are studying pituitary gland secretes the growth hormone, and this hypersecretion or hyposecretion of growth hormone results into the condition which are called to be as dwarfism and gigantism. Right? Hyposecretion or hypersecretion of the growth hormone results into the dwarfism or gigantism. Dwarfism condition wherein insufficient supply of the growth hormone. I shall be writing GH, that means growth hormone. Insufficient supply of the growth hormone into the children before attaining maturity results into the condition which is called to be as dwarfism. And gigantism condition, over secretion. Over secretion of what? Over secretion of growth hormone into the children before attaining the maturity is called to be as gigantism. So these are the conditions which are seen into the children. The next we had come across the pineal gland. Pineal gland, which is located into the brain itself in the middle, almost to the mid of the brain. And this pineal gland is secreting the hormone which is called to be as the melatonin, which is called to be as the melatonin. And this hormone's functioning to the body is that it is regulating the sleep-wake cycle. It is regulating sleep-wake cycle. Yesterday, I had given the example of the students wherein sometimes the students who wants to top into the state or who wants to top into the examination. Usually, I had given just an example so that you can understand in a good way. Here, when they are sleeping late night, at that time, drowsiness is seen into the children, and that is because of the melatonin, which is making them know that you are feeling drowsy, you need to sleep by the time and wake up early in the morning by setting an alarm for say around 4 o'clock, 4:30 or 5. It depends again on to the person. So when the alarm rings and it is again the melatonin present into the brain, making you say that you have to off the alarm. So this is what yesterday we had learned. Today we shall see the other endocrine gland, which is called to be as thyroid gland, which is called to be as the thyroid gland. This thyroid gland, what is the location for the thyroid gland, where it is present into the body? Thyroid gland, it is present near the trachea, near the trachea, below the below the larynx. Okay. Thyroid gland, the location for the thyroid gland, it is near the trachea, below the larynx, the sound box, the vocal cord, which is called to be as the larynx. This thyroid gland, it is of the shape of the butterfly, okay, which is present into the tracheal, near the trachea, wherein it is having the two lobes, okay. The thyroid is consisting of the two lobes. It is, say, like this into the, say this is the trachea, okay, and it is located here into the trachea, and this is consisting of the two lobes on either side of the, see these are the two lobes on either side of the trachea. This thyroid gland, what is the secretion into the body? Thyroid gland, it secretes the hormone which is called to be as thyroxine. Okay, what is the hormone secreted by the thyroid gland? The hormone secreted by the thyroid gland is the thyroxine. This thyroxine, it is having the chemical composition of amino acid in addition with iodine. Okay, what is the chemical composition of the thyroxine? This thyroxine, it is made up of the substance amino acid and the iodine. Now, I had mentioned about the hyposecretion and the hypersecretion. What are their effects onto the body? See, this thyroxine, it is as it is consisting or it requires the iodine part for its synthesizing. Here, the hyposecretion. That means what? Hyposecretion. Hyposecretion means inadequate supply. Inadequate supply. Remember, thyroxine, It is consisting or it requires iodine for its production into the body, and the hyposecretion of the thyroxine, that means inadequate supply of the thyroxine into the body, causes many of the disorders in which they are simple goiter, then comes the myxedema and the cretinism. Cretinism. Listen very carefully here. Hyposecretion, that means inadequate supply. Inadequate supply of what? Inadequate supply of the thyroxine. It will be causing the simple goiter, the myxedema, or the cretinism into the human beings. Now, let us see in details one by one. What are the symptoms, or how can we know that a person is suffering from the simple goiter or myxedema or cretinism? Here, we come across the very first part, that is simple goiter. The first one, let us take up the simple goiter. Now, what is this condition? You might have seen some people having the bulging neck, right? That bulging of the neck is nothing but the simple goiter. What is the reason to result this simple goiter into the person? It is because of the inadequate supply of the thyroxine into the body. What happens if inadequate supply of the thyroxine is there? See, as the thyroxine is consisting of the iodine content into it for synthesizing the thyroxine, it requires the iodine part. When this thyroxine iodine content is insufficient to produce the thyroxine, then it results into the swelling of thyroid. Okay, thyroid gland. When the swelling of the thyroid gland is seen, then we say the person is having the simple goiter into him or her. And this swelling of the neck is the or swollen neck, swollen neck. Is the symptom by which we can say that the person is suffering from simple goiter. You might have seen that usually people will be saying to consume the iodized salt. Why iodized salt is required for the body? Again, I shall be saying here that iodine is required for synthesizing the thyroxine. If iodine supply to the thyroid gland is in insufficient content or inadequately supplied, then the person shows the swelling of the thyroid gland, which results to be as the simple goiter. And how can we recognize what are the symptoms to know that the person is suffering from simple goiter? It is the swollen neck. So this is quite important. Simple goiter. What is simple goiter, or what is the symptom for the simple goiter? The next one, that is myxedema. Myxedema, it is a condition of the hyposecretion of the thyroxine. When inadequate supply of the thyroxine is seen into the person, then the person will be showing overweight, or overweight in the sense sudden sudden gain in weight, gain in weight. Like if a lady is there, she is constantly having her weight to be 65 kilograms, kgs. For years, for many of the years, she is having the constant weight into her. But within a week, she increased the weight by 7 to 8 kgs. Say 7 to 8 kgs. and she is feeling tired. Okay, that is fatigueness. Tired. Feeling tired is nothing but the fatigueness. Sudden weight, gain into the weight, fatigueness, low metabolic rate, and and here low metabolic rate and thickened skin. Okay. See, if a lady, I mentioned that for years she was having her weight to be at 65 kgs, but sudden within a week she increased her weight by 7 to 8 kgs. She is feeling tired. She is having low metabolic rate, and her skin is thickened. By seeing all these symptoms, she visits to the doctor and goes for a thyroid test. At that time, it is diagnosed to be as she is suffering from hyposecretion of the thyroxine, because of which this condition, that is myxedema, is seen into her. This is the condition that we come across a person, maybe a female or maybe a male, but we usually come across into the females. The next one, the condition that is cretinism. This condition is usually seen into the children. Okay, this creatinism, this is a undersecretion or inadequate supply of the hyposecretion, especially seen into the children whose thyroid gland is improperly functioning right from the birth. Right from the birth, when the improper functioning of the thyroid gland is seen, the child is having the condition of cretinism. Wherein, how can we know that the child is suffering from is having the cretinism condition? The symptoms seen into them is here loose skin. The skin is very loose. Here again defective teeth are there. Defective teeth. Next, the child is mentally retarded. Proper growth and development is not seen. Physical and mental development is not seen into the child, then we say that maybe the child is suffering from or having the condition which is called to be as cretinism. Remember, this cretinism, this is a condition seen only into the children whose thyroid gland right from the beginning is improperly functioning, and these are the symptoms that we come across into him or her. The next one. So then this is about the hyposecretion of the thyroxine. Next we come across the hypersecretion. Hypersecretion of thyroxine. What is the condition seen into the person? Here it is just the opposite of the hyposecretion. That is myxedema. It is just opposite to the myxedema, wherein sudden weight loss Certain weight loss is seen. Second thing here, high blood pressure is seen into the person. Feels very much fatigued, tired. Then irritation. So these are the simple symptoms that we come across the person who is having the condition of hypersecretion of the thyroxine. So this is about the thyroid gland. Next, coming to the next gland, that is parathyroid gland. The next, the next type of the endocrine gland, that is parathyroid gland. This parathyroid gland, where are these located into the body? These glands, they are present into the thyroid gland. They are very small, oval in shape. Okay, and these four are small oval shaped structures which are found into the thyroid gland. Tiny These are four oval shaped glands which are present into the thyroid gland. We can call it gland in gland. So they are four in number. This parathyroid gland, where it is located, set into the thyroid gland itself. On the dorsal side in the sense to the back side of the thyroid gland, within the thyroid gland to the back side. And it's a secretion. What is the secretion of this parathyroid gland? The secretion, it is parathormone. Just a minute here. Here into the thyroxine, it is thyroxine which is secreted by the thyroid gland. One more secretion that is called to be as the calcitonin. Okay, calcitonin. The other secretion of the thyroid gland is calcitonin, which is regulates. It regulates what? It regulates the level of calcium and phosphorus in the blood. Okay. The other secretion of the thyroid gland is calcitonin. What does this hormone do into the body? What is its function? It regulates the calcium and phosphorus level in the blood. Now, when this regulation of calcium and phosphorus into the blood, it is about the thyroxine. The next one, it is here parathormone, which is secreted by the parathyroid gland. This also regulates. Parathormone also regulates what? It also regulates calcium and phosphorus level in the blood. Okay. The same function again. It is regulating the calcium and phosphorus level in the blood. This is also functioning the same. It is regulating the calcium and phosphorus level into the blood. But what exactly they are doing? They are opposite in function. They are opposite in function. Here it is decreasing the level of the calcium and phosphorus into the blood. Okay, but in case of parathormone, it is increasing the level of calcium and phosphorus into the blood. Here, if we see the hyposecretion and the hypersecretion. Okay, if we see the hyposecretion, what does it do? Inadequate supply. When the inadequate supply of the parathormone is there into the body, what will happen? Here, hyposecretion results into the painful muscle cramps. Painful muscle cramps. You might have seen painful muscle cramps, especially above the ankle length into your leg. What will happen sometimes? The muscle cramp is seen, which is very painful. If you try to relax the muscles, it will pain a lot. So that is due to the inadequate supply of the parathormone. If the frequent muscle cramps are seen, painful muscle cramps are seen, that it means that the secretion of the parathormone into the body is in inadequate supply. What will happen if its secretion is more into the body? Say hypersecretion of the parathormone. Hypersecretion. What does it do if more amount of parathormone is secreted into the body? This softens the bone. Softens the bones. Why? Because as it is increasing the level of the calcium and phosphorus, when the level is increases into the blood, it will remove the calcium content from the bones, because of which they soften the bones. So here what are the hyposecretion and hypersecretion seen because of this parathormone? Hyposecretion, it results into the painful muscle cramps. If its secretion is more, then it softens the bones. That means more secretion of the calcium into the blood also removes the calcium from the bone, because of which they soften the bone. The next type of the gland we come across is the thymus gland. The next type of the gland, that is thymus gland. Thymus gland, where it is located, the location for the thymus gland, it is below the neck and above the chest region. Okay, it is below the neck and above the chest region. That is the location for the thymus gland. What is the secretion of this thymus gland? What does it do? It secretes the hormone which is called to be as thymosin. It secretes the hormone called to be as thymosin. Remember the secretions, many of the secretions we come across, thymus, thymosin. Okay, thymus, thymosin. So this thymosin, what does it do into the body? What is the function of this thymosin into the body? It regulates the it development of regulates the development of immune system. So, especially in case of the children, this thymosin develops the immune system. But as the child attains the maturity, this thymus glands, those are banished into the children. So, these are the some of the endocrine glands that we have come across. What are these? We had come across today. We had come across the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland location, it is below the it is below the larynx and into the trachea region. It is consisting of the two lobes. Its secretion is the thyroid gland, that is thyroxine. Okay, the thyroxine, it is the secretion for thyroid gland. Don't get confused with the secretions. So, along with thyroxine, it also secretes the hormone which is called as calcitonin. Okay, next. What is the function of thyroxine into the body? This regulates the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay, don't forget metabolism, it helps in the metabolism of what? Metabolism of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Okay, so function of the thyroxine is it regulates the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Along with that, this thyroxine, it is called to be as a personality hormone, as it is related with the overall development of the body of the person. It is called to be as the personality hormone. Now, coming up to their hyposecretion and hypersecretion. Hyposecretion, there are three different types we come across. One of them is simple goiter, the other one is the myxedema, and the cretinism. Okay, so these are the three conditions that we come across the hyposecretion of the thyroxine. Here, if we see the simple goiter, what is simple goiter? It is the inadequate supply of the iodine to the thyroid gland. That for the preparation of the thyroxine in the thyroid gland swells the thyroid gland. That condition we call it to be as simple goiter. What is the symptom for the simple goiter? It is the swollen neck. Okay, swollen neck is the symptom for the simple goiter. Then we come across the second type of the inadequate supply of thyroxine, that is myxedema. Then into the myxedema, what are the conditions we see? We see that certain weight gain is there into the person. He or she feels very fatigued, much more tired, and their metabolic rate is also decreased. And due to the certain weight gain, the skin becomes thicker. The last condition we come across is cretinism, which is especially seen into the children whose thyroid gland is improper functioning right from the birth. Here, when the child is consisting of loose skin, defective teeth is seen, mentally and physically retardation is seen into the child. When these conditions are seen into the child, we can say the child's condition is to be as cretinism. The other one we had come across the other calcitonin, the other secretion of the thyroid gland, which is called to be as calcitonin. What does it do into the body? This calcitonin it regulates the level of calcium and phosphorus into the blood. That means if the level of calcium and phosphorus into the blood is increased, it lowers down or it decreases their level into the blood. Next, coming up to the hypersecretion of the thyroxine, we had seen that it is the condition wherein the person shows a certain weight loss, is having a high blood pressure, nervous tension is there, fatigueness is seen, and irritation is seen as the symptoms into the person. Then we shall be saying that so and so person may be having the condition of hyperthyroidism. The next type of the gland, endocrine gland, we had come across that is parathyroid gland. This parathyroid gland is called to be as glanding gland. Why? Because this parathyroid gland it is located into the thyroid gland itself, to the dorsal side, to the back side of the thyroid gland. Within the thyroid gland itself, four tiny oval shaped structures of the gland are seen. This parathyroid gland secretes the hormone which is called to be as parathormone. And this hormone, what does it do? Its function into the body, it regulates the level of calcium and phosphorus. Okay, again, it is the same function as that of the calcitonin, but they are opposite in function. Here into the calcitonin, the level of the calcium and phosphorus, they are going to decrease the level of the calcium and phosphorus level. But here they are increasing the level of calcium and phosphorus into the blood. What happens if its secretion is inadequate? Then it results into the painful muscle cramps. And if its secretion is more, then it removes the calcium content from the bones and softens the bones, makes the bone brittle. The other endocrine gland we had come across that is thymus gland. What does this thymus gland do? Where it is present into the body? Thymus gland it is below the neck and into the above the chest region. This thymus gland secretes the hormone which is called to be as thymosin. Thymosin. It is the hormone which is secreted by the thymus gland. Now, what does this thymus gland do? It helps in thymosin do. Here, it regulates the development of immune system into the children. Especially thymosin is seen into the children. Thymus gland is seen into the children, wherein before attaining the maturity, they develop the immune system. Once the child attains the maturity puberty stage, then this thymus gland vanishes or gets converted to be as fat into the body. Next, coming up to the other endocrine gland. The other endocrine gland that is the adrenal gland. Okay, so these adrenal glands, what is their location? They are located on the upper side of the kidney, on either side, each one on either side of the kidney. A pair of adrenal glands are present above the kidney. That is the location. Okay, each one on either side of the kidney, upper side of the kidney. This adrenal gland, when we see the structure here. Suppose this is the adrenal gland. This is the outer region. Okay, this is the outer region which is called to be as cortex, and this region it is called to be as the medulla. Okay, outer region of the adrenal gland, that is cortex, and inner region is the medulla. This adrenal gland secretes the hormones. Adrenal gland secretes the hormones adrenaline. Okay, adrenal gland secretes the hormone which is called to be as adrenaline and corticoids. Okay, so the hormones secreted by the adrenal gland are adrenaline and corticoids. What is their function into the body? Here, the adrenaline, the adrenaline, it is called to be as emergency hormone. Okay, adrenaline is called as emergency hormone. Why? Because here the adrenaline, what does it do into the body? It prepares the body. It prepares the body for emergency situation. See here, adrenaline. What is the function of the adrenaline to the body? It is preparing the body to face the emergency situation. That is why it is called as emergency hormone. That means what? Preparing the body for emergency situation. Suppose you are walking onto the roadside, you have seen a panther onto the road. Instead of standing there, you start to run away from the place. If you get frightened and move from the place, you run away from the place. At that time, your body is coordinating with several events into the body. That means you are seeing the panther, your heartbeat rate is increased, the oxygen supply into the body will be more, because of which you are running very fast from the place. At this stage, here the entire body is coordinating with one another and it is facing the emergency situation, because of which it is called to be as the emergency hormone. Now, sometimes the other example, if I say you related with the mass card, sometimes it so happens if you are scoring, usually you will be scoring more than 95% into the class, but because of some reason you scored less percentage and your parents are expecting much more percent from you. At that time, when the result you have to show to your parents, at that time you have the frightenedness in yourself. Got it? The heartbeat rate is increased. Butterflies they are flying. It is not only because of the frightenedness. The same condition can also be seen when you are excited, when you are under stress, when you are angry. Right? Sometimes it so happens that you have a quarrel with someone. At that time, you are in a very angry mood and you are shouting on someone. At that time, also the voice is increased, the blood pressure is increased, the blood flow into the body is increased, because of which it is preparing the body to face the situation. That is why adrenaline is called to be as a emergency hormone. The next endocrine gland we come across, that is the pancreas. We had learned about the pancreas previously also. Where? Into the alimentary canal. But into the alimentary canal, I have already mentioned that pancreas, they are the heterocrine glands because a part of it into the alimentary canal is acting to be as exocrine gland because the secretions are in the form of enzymes which are passing through the duct. Okay, so into the alimentary canal, it is acting to be as exocrine gland. But here into the endocrine gland, these pancreas, they are secreting the hormones because as it is an endocrine gland as well, its secretion is in the form of hormones. Now, the location we are aware, it is back of stomach. What is the location? It is behind. Okay, instead of writing back, I should be writing behind the stomach, and its secretion. What is the secretion? The secretion of the pancreas are insulin and glucagon. Okay, into the endocrine gland, as it is a heterocrine gland. At present, we are learning the endocrine part of the pancreas, wherein they are located behind the stomach. Its secretion is in the form of insulin and glucagon. Now, what is the function of insulin into the body? What happens if insulin is secreted in less amount or more amount? What happens if the glucagon is secreted insufficiently or it is over secreted into the body? The details for these secretions we shall come across into the coming up class. And today we had come across many of the endocrine glands like the thyroid gland, the parathyroid gland, the thymus gland, the adrenal gland. So each of the glands are important with their secretions, functions, because as this chapter is consisting of many of the application based questions, so you should be very much thorough into the functions, and on the basis of the functions, if they ask any type of the question, you should be able to answer. About the application based questions, I shall be discussing as we complete the chapter, but for now, be thorough with the glands and their secretions, their functions into the body. Let us continue into the next class. Thank you.